The massive screens in Earth's Defense Command Center flickered with urgent warnings. Admiral James Cooper stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching as dozens of unknown vessels emerged from bright flashes of light at the edge of the solar system. The room fell silent except for the steady beep of scanning equipment. "Sir, the objects are moving in a controlled formation," reported Officer Mark from his station. "They're definitely ships, and they're bigger than anything we've ever built." Cooper nodded slowly. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades. The combined Earth Defense Force had trained for first contact scenarios, but the reality of it made his throat feel dry. "Alert all nations. Activate the Unity Protocol." Within minutes, leaders from every major nation were connected through secure channels. The unknown ships continued their steady approach, now passing Jupiter's orbit. Their formation was perfect, too perfect to be anything but a show of force. "All planetary defense systems are ready," General Maria Stone announced from her command post in North America. Similar confirmations came in from around the globe. Earth's hidden defensive grid hummed to life, carefully concealed from the approaching fleet. As the alien ships drew closer, they broadcast a message in multiple frequencies. Earth's translation computers worked quickly, decoding the signal. A face appeared on the main screen, humanoid but clearly alien, with pale purple skin and eyes that seemed to glow. "People of Earth," the alien spoke, its words automatically translated. "I am Ambassador Lord Darius of the Galactic Empire. Your world has been chosen to join our great civilization. Prepare to receive our delegation." Cooper exchanged glances with the world leaders on his screen. They had all agreed long ago. Earth would not bow to any external force. "Prepare the diplomatic vessel," he ordered, "but keep our defense grid on full alert." The meeting was arranged in Earth's orbit. The human diplomatic ship, modest in size but incorporating the best of Earth's hidden technology, approached the designated coordinates. Cooper led the small delegation, accompanied by representatives from major world regions. The Empire's ship dwarfed theirs. It was golden and crystal, shaped like a massive arrowhead that gleamed in the sunlight. The humans were escorted through corridors that seemed designed to intimidate, soaring ceilings, moving holographic displays, and guards in armor that rippled with energy fields. Lord Darius sat on an elevated platform, looking down at the human delegation. "Welcome," he said, his tone carrying the weight of assumed authority. "We have studied your world from afar. Your species shows promise, despite your primitive technology. Under Imperial guidance, you will serve a greater purpose." Cooper kept his face neutral. "We appreciate your interest in Earth, Ambassador. However, we need to understand what joining your empire would entail." The alien's expression shifted to something like amusement. "Entail? You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. The Empire does not negotiate with pre-FTL civilizations. You will submit to Imperial authority, provide resources and troops as required, and receive the benefits of Imperial protection and technology." "And if we decline?" Cooper asked, though he already knew the answer. Lord Darius laughed. "Decline? In 10,000 years, no world has declined Imperial membership. It would be unwise." Cooper stood straighter. "Then we will be the first. Earth declines your offer, Ambassador." The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Lord Darius's eyes narrowed to glowing slits. "Perhaps I was unclear. This is not an offer. This is your future. Resistance would be perfectly human." Cooper interrupted. "We've heard enough. Earth will remain free." The human delegation turned and walked out, leaving the Imperial officials in stunned silence. No one had ever walked out on the Empire before. No one had ever simply said no. As they returned to their ship, Cooper's communications officer reported that the Imperial vessel was broadcasting on all frequencies. "They're demanding we return immediately, sir. They're threatening consequences." Cooper allowed himself a small smile. "Send our prepared response." Across all frequencies, Earth broadcasts a simple message. Earth declares, No entry for Galactic Empire. This is your only warning. The Empire's ships moved closer, their weapons charging. But deep beneath Earth's oceans, hidden in mountain bunkers, and concealed in orbital platforms, humanity's real defenses waited. The Empire was about to learn why humans had always been so good at saying no to tyrants. The first contact had gone wrong, or perhaps from humanity's perspective. Exactly right. The true test would begin soon, and Earth was ready to show the galaxy something it had never seen before, a world that refused to kneel. The Empire's ships spread across Earth's orbit like a web of golden threads. Their massive vessels blocked out the stars, a show of force meant to make humanity understand its mistake. But in underground command centers around the world, Earth's leaders smiled. The Empire was positioning its ships exactly where Earth's defense systems could target them best. General Maria Stone watched the tactical display with keen eyes. "They're following standard invasion patterns," she said to her staff. "Just like we predicted from studying other empires in history. They think size and power are everything." The Empire's ultimatum came 3 hours after the failed meeting. Lord Darius's face appeared on every screen and device on Earth, his purple skin now dark with anger. "People of Earth," he announced, "your leaders have made a grave mistake. The Empire's patience is not unlimited. You have 6 hours to surrender your world and accept imperial rule. If you refuse," he paused for effect, "we will demonstrate why no world has ever denied the Empire." In Washington, London, Beijing, Moscow, and other capitals, leaders gathered in secure bunkers. They had prepared for this moment for years, ever since their deep space telescopes had first spotted the Empire's expansion toward Earth's sector of space. Dr. Robert Allen, Earth's lead scientist for alien technology, rushed into the main command center with a tablet in his hand. "General Stone, Admiral Cooper, you need to see this," he said, his eyes bright with excitement. "We've finished analyzing their ship designs. The Empire has a weakness they don't even know about." The leaders gathered around as Dr. Allen explained. They rely too much on their energy shields. But their shield frequency, he pointed to complex diagrams, it's based on old technology. They haven't improved it in thousands of years. Why would they? No one has ever beaten them. Admiral Cooper leaned forward. "And we can use this." "Better," Dr. Allen grinned. "We already have countermeasures in place. Earth's quantum-based weapons operate on principles they've never encountered. Their shields might as well be paper to our systems." Around the world, military forces moved into position. Unlike the Empire's obvious display of power, Earth's preparations were invisible. Submarines carried special weapons deep under the oceans. Mountain bases activated defense systems disguised as weather stations. Satellites that appeared to be simple communication relays revealed hidden weapon ports. The Empire's deadline approached. Lord Darius appeared again, his confidence clear in his glowing eyes. "Your time is nearly up. Even now, we detect no significant military response. Have you finally accepted wisdom?" Admiral Cooper sent Earth's response, his voice calm and steady. "Earth has heard your threats, Ambassador. We choose to remain free. But before you make your next decision, we suggest you study Earth's history, particularly what has happened to others who try to conquer us." Lord Darius's face showed confusion, then amusement. "You speak of your primitive wars against each other. The Empire has conquered 10,000 worlds. Your defiance is amusing, but futile." "Is it?" Cooper asked. "You claim to have studied us, but did you study the right things? Did you learn why humans are different from your other conquests?" "Enlighten me," Lord Darius said mockingly. "Throughout our history, every empire that thought itself invincible met the same fate when they faced determined humans. We don't accept impossible odds. We overcome them. We don't bow to superior force. We find ways to defeat it." The Admiral's words were broadcast to every human on Earth, reminding them of their strength. "You see our older technology and think we're primitive. You see our smaller ships and think we're weak. That's exactly what we wanted you to see." Lord Darius's amusement faded. "You dare to suggest you have deceived the Empire?" "We dare much more than that," Cooper replied. "Your 6 hours are up, Ambassador. Now it's our turn to give you a choice. Leave Earth's space, or learn why humanity has survived everything the universe has thrown at us." The Empire's ships began powering up their weapons. Across Earth, hidden defense systems locked onto targets. The Empire was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology or ships or guns. It was the simple fact that humans had never learned when to quit. The warning had been given. The Empire had made its choice. Now it would face something it had never encountered in 10,000 years of conquest. A species that had turned its long history of warfare into preparation for exactly this moment. For the first time in human history, every nation on Earth worked as one. In underground bases across the planet, soldiers who were once enemies now trained side by side. The world had changed the moment the Empire's ships appeared in the sky. Dr. Thomas Reed stood in his laboratory deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, surrounded by holographic displays showing Empire ship designs. His team had been working nonstop since capturing the data during the diplomatic meeting. "Their shields are powerful," he explained to the gathered military leaders, "but they're predictable. They haven't faced a real challenge in centuries. That's made them lazy." On the main screen, a simulation showed an Empire battleship. "Look here," Dr. Reed pointed. "Their shield technology is based on deflecting energy weapons. They've never faced our quantum disruption cannons because they don't think a primitive world could develop such weapons." General Stone nodded with approval. "How long until all our defense systems are upgraded?" 24 hours, Reed answered. "We've been preparing these weapons for years. We just needed to know their exact shield frequencies to make them perfect." In orbit, Earth's seemingly primitive satellites were secretly moving into attack positions. The Empire ships didn't give them a second look. After all, what harm could simple communication satellites do to their mighty vessels? Underground, the real work continued. Massive hangars housed ships that the Empire never saw, vessels built with technology humanity had kept hidden. They were smaller than Empire ships, but packed with innovations born from centuries of human warfare and scientific advancement. Admiral Cooper walked through one of these hangars, watching crews prepare their ships. "Remember," he told the pilots, "they expect us to fight like them, head-on, with big ships and obvious attacks. That's exactly what we won't do." The pilots nodded. They had trained for years in secret, preparing for this moment. Their ships might look small compared to Empire vessels, but they were faster, more agile, and carried weapons the Empire had never seen. In another facility, Dr. Reed's team made another breakthrough. Their communication system, a young scientist announced, "It's actually simpler than ours." They've used the same system for so long, they never thought to improve it. Reed grinned. "Can we break into it?" "Better," the scientist replied. "We can feed them false data, make their ships see things that aren't there." Around the world, civilians moved into prepared shelters. Unlike the panicked evacuations the Empire expected, these movements were orderly and planned. Every person knew their role in Earth's defense plan. In orbit, Lord Darius watched the planet with growing frustration. His sensors showed minimal military activity, nothing like the desperate preparations he expected. Either the humans were foolishly unprepared, or he pushed the disturbing thought away. No primitive world could hide its preparations from Imperial sensors. It was impossible. Deep under the Atlantic Ocean, massive underwater bases hummed with activity. Ships that could split into 3 separate vessels waited in hidden caves. Weapon systems disguised as natural rock formations pointed silently at the sky. "All planetary defense grids report ready," announced a controller in the main command center. "Quantum disruption network is at full power." General Stone looked at the global readiness display. Green lights shone everywhere. "And the special projects?" "Ready, ma'am. The Empire won't know what hit them." In his private office, Admiral Cooper recorded a message for history. The Empire thinks they're facing a primitive world fighting its first space war. They're wrong. They're facing a species that has spent its entire history preparing for war, learning from every battle, and turning its greatest weakness, constant conflict, into its greatest strength. He paused, looking at a photo of Earth taken from space. We're not just fighting for our freedom. We're fighting to show the galaxy that the Empire isn't invincible, that even the mightiest can fall if they become too proud, too set in their ways. The final preparations were complete. In every corner of the globe, humans waited quietly, ready for the coming battle. The Empire had spent 10,000 years perfecting its method of conquering worlds, but they had never faced a species that turned preparation for war into an art form. The Empire thought they were the teachers, coming to show a primitive world its place in the galaxy. They were about to become the students, learning a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. The Empire struck at dawn. Golden beams of energy rained down from their ships, targeting what their scans showed as Earth's major military bases. The Empire's weapons were designed to overwhelm any defense system they had encountered in 10,000 years of conquest. Lord Darius watched from his command ship, expecting to see cities burn and humans panic. Instead, the energy beams hit empty fields and abandoned buildings. "Impossible," Lord Darius muttered, his glowing eyes narrowing. "Our scans showed." An alarm blared through the Imperial fleet. From beneath the oceans, behind mountains, and out of hidden orbital positions, Earth's real defense grid revealed itself. Dr. Reed's quantum disruption weapons fired their first shots. The beams, invisible to Imperial sensors, passed straight through their supposedly impenetrable shields. 3 Empire ships exploded before they realized they were under attack. "How?" Lord Darius demanded, watching as his perfect formation broke apart. "They're primitives. They shouldn't have." "My lord," an Imperial officer shouted, "our systems are being hacked. Something is in our network." Earth's AI systems, far more advanced than the Empire's basic computers, tore through their outdated security. Ships lost power. Weapons turned themselves off. Communication systems broadcast human music instead of battle orders. Admiral Cooper's voice echoed through every Imperial ship. "You thought we would fight like you. Big ships, obvious weapons, straightforward attacks. That's not how humans wage war." In the confusion, Earth's smaller ships launched from their hidden bases. They moved in ways the Empire had never seen, splitting into smaller vessels mid-flight, combining again, diving into the ocean only to emerge behind enemy ships. Detecting new energy signatures, an Imperial officer reported, panic in his voice. "They're not matching any known weapons." Lord Darius watched in horror as his mighty fleet was thrown into chaos. The humans weren't fighting like primitives. They weren't fighting like any species the Empire had ever encountered. They were fighting like humans. Ground troops that the Empire had landed in major cities found themselves in elaborate traps. Buildings that seemed like easy targets turned out to be holograms. Streets rearranged themselves thanks to hidden mechanisms. And the humans fought with centuries of guerrilla warfare experience. In his command center, Admiral Cooper watched the battle unfold exactly as planned. "Launch Operation Shadow Strike," he ordered. Across Earth, thousands of tiny ships rose into the air. Each one was barely larger than a car, too small for the Empire to consider a threat. But together, they formed a net around the Imperial fleet. "What are they doing?" Lord Darius demanded. "Such tiny vessels can't hurt our ships." The small ships released clouds of nanobots, another technology Earth had kept hidden. The microscopic machines swarmed over Imperial ships, eating through hull metal, disrupting shield generators, and causing chaos in their systems. "My lord," an officer reported, "we've lost contact with 30% of the fleet." "No, 40%. 50. For the first time in his life, Lord Darius felt fear. This wasn't how primitives fought. This wasn't how anyone fought. In the Atlantic, an Imperial cruiser tried to hide underwater, using a technique that had worked on 100 worlds. It found itself surrounded by submarines that had mastered underwater warfare over centuries of human conflict. The cruiser never surfaced. "Send the signal to retreat," Lord Darius ordered. "We need reinforcements. We need." His ship shook as quantum beams sliced through its shields. On his command screen, he watched in disbelief as his mighty fleet was torn apart by an enemy they had badly underestimated. Admiral Cooper's voice came through once more. "This was just our first response, Ambassador. Still think we're primitives." As the sun set on the first day of battle, more than half the Imperial fleet was destroyed or captured. The rest were in retreat, their crews shocked by the power of the primitive world they had tried to conquer. In the main command center, General Stone looked at the battle report with satisfaction. "Send word to all forces," she ordered. "Phase 1 complete. Prepare for Phase 2. Earth had won its first battle against the Empire, but more importantly, they had shown the galaxy something it had never seen before. The Empire could be beaten. The Empire could be humiliated, and humanity was just getting started. 2 days after defeating the Empire's first attack, Earth launched Operation Thunderbolt. Colonel Anna Wright sat in her command chair aboard the Swift Strike, one of Earth's new stealth ships. Her mission was bold: capture an Imperial battlecruiser. "All ships report ready," her tactical officer announced. "The Imperial ship is still trying to repair its engines." The damaged Imperial battlecruiser floated in space, separated from the retreating Empire fleet. It was huge, nearly 2 miles long, with enough weapons to destroy a city. But now it was wounded prey, and humans were excellent hunters. "Begin Phase 1, Wright ordered. "Let's show them how Earth fights back." 20 small ships appeared around the Imperial vessel, each barely visible against the darkness of space. The Empire's sensors couldn't track them. Another advantage of Earth's stealth technology. The ships released clouds of special nanobots, designed by Dr. Reed's team to disable specific Imperial systems. Inside the Imperial ship, alarms blared. "Unknown substance detected on the hull." An Imperial officer shouted, "We're losing power to weapons." The ship's captain, a veteran of 100 conquests, couldn't believe what was happening. These primitives weren't just defending. They were hunting Imperial ships. Wright's voice came through their communications. "Imperial vessel, this is Earth forces. Your weapons are disabled, your engines are dead, and your shields are failing. Surrender now." The Imperial captain laughed. "Surrender? To primitives? We still have 5,000 troops aboard. You can't possibly." His words were cut off as Earth's quantum teleporters activated, another technology humans had kept secret. Small teams of Earth soldiers appeared throughout the Imperial ship, wearing advanced combat suits that made them nearly invisible. "Impossible," the Imperial captain shouted. "No pre-FTL civilization has teleporter technology." But humans did. They had developed it years ago, but kept it hidden, knowing someday it would give them an advantage over overconfident enemies. The battle inside the ship was short. Earth's soldiers moved like ghosts through the corridors, using tactics perfected in centuries of special operations warfare. Imperial troops, used to fighting straight battles with overwhelming force, had no defense against these shadow warriors. In Earth's main command center, Admiral Cooper watched the operation's progress. "How long until we can use their ship?" Dr. Reed smiled. "We already understand most of their technology. It's not as advanced as they think. They haven't truly innovated in centuries. They just built bigger versions of the same old things." The news of Earth capturing an Imperial battlecruiser spread quickly through the galaxy. On 100 worlds, enslaved species watched in amazement as the mighty Empire lost ship after ship to the primitives they had tried to conquer. Colonel Wright stood on the bridge of the captured battlecruiser, now renamed Freedom's Dawn. Earth engineers had already improved its systems, making it faster and more powerful than any Imperial ship. "Send the message," she ordered. Across Imperial communication channels, videos spread showing Earth forces defeating the Empire. They showed how a primitive world had not only stopped the unstoppable Empire, but was now turning the Empire's own ships against them. In his flagship, far from Earth, Lord Darius received reports of growing unrest throughout the Empire. How? He demanded. How are they doing this? The answer came from an unexpected source, his own chief scientist. My lord, I've studied their technology. They think differently than us. While we made our ships bigger, they made theirs smarter. While we relied on brute force, they created weapons we never imagined. They're not primitives. They're what we could have been if we hadn't stopped innovating. On Earth, preparations continued. The captured Imperial ship had given them even more knowledge of Empire technology. Dr. Reed and his team worked day and night, finding more weaknesses, creating better weapons. Admiral Cooper addressed the world. Today marks a new chapter. We've proven that humanity isn't just ready to join the galaxy. We're ready to help free it. The Empire thought they would make us kneel. Instead, we will teach them to stand up. The Empire had ruled through fear for 10,000 years, but they had never faced an enemy like humanity. A species that turned battle into an art form, that saw impossible odds as a challenge, and that had spent its entire history preparing for this moment. The counterattack had begun, and Earth was leading the charge. The Empire's elite fleet arrived with enough firepower to destroy 10 planets. 1,000 of their most powerful ships darkened Earth's skies, led by Grand Admiral Maximus himself. This was no longer about conquering Earth. It was about making an example of the first world that had dared to humiliate the Empire. Behold the true might of the Empire. Maximus broadcasted to Earth. Surrender now, and we may let some of your species survive. In Earth's command center, Admiral Cooper watched the massive fleet with calm eyes. They still think quantity beats quality, he said to General Stone. Send the signal to Dr. Reed. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Reed activated humanity's newest weapon. His team had worked nonstop since capturing the Imperial battlecruiser, creating something the Empire would never expect. Quantum disruption field active, he reported. Let them take their best shot. The elite fleet fired all weapons at once. The space above Earth lit up brighter than the sun as thousands of energy beams struck Earth's atmosphere. Grand Admiral Maximus smiled, expecting to see continents crack. Instead, the energy beams vanished into nothing. Impossible. Maximus shouted, "Fire again." But Earth had created a quantum shield that didn't just block attacks. It absorbed their energy and made itself stronger. Every Imperial blast made Earth's defenses tougher. Now, Cooper ordered, show them how humans fight when we're truly angry. Earth's hidden fleet rose from the oceans, launched from mountain bases, and decloaked in orbit. These ships were different from before. They were hybrids of human innovation and captured Imperial technology. All ships, execute Battle Plan Phoenix, General Stone commanded. Earth's vessels moved in ways that defied Imperial tactics. They could split into smaller ships, combine into larger ones, and phase through solid matter using quantum technology. The Empire's neat formations broke apart trying to track enemies that refused to fight by their rules. My lord, an Imperial officer shouted to Maximus. Their weapons, they're using our own shield frequencies against us. Dr. Reed's team had done more than study Imperial technology. They had found ways to turn it against itself. Each shot from Earth's ships carried codes that made Imperial shields recognize them as friendly fire, letting them pass straight through. The elite fleet's perfect formation turned into chaos. Ships fired at empty space, while Earth's vessels struck from unexpected angles. The Empire's best admirals found their strategies useless against an enemy that rewrote the rules of space combat. Maximus watched in horror as his fleet fell apart. No, this isn't possible. We are the Empire. We cannot be defeated by primitives. You're right about one thing. Cooper's voice came through all channels. We're not primitives. We're humans. And you just made us mad. Earth's ships launched their final attack. The hybrid vessels combined into massive battle stations, focusing their weapons on the Empire's flagship. The quantum disruption field collapsed inward, trapping the elite fleet in a web of energy they couldn't escape. Hold position, Maximus ordered, but his ships couldn't move. They were caught in humanity's trap. Dr. Reed's voice came next. Fun fact about humans, Admiral. When we're backed into a corner, we don't give up. We get creative. Your shields are now under our control. Your weapons are locked. You have two choices: surrender or watch your fleet tear itself apart. Throughout the galaxy, other species watched in amazement as live feeds showed Earth's victory. The elite fleet, the Empire's ultimate weapon, was being defeated by a world they had called primitive just weeks ago. In his command ship, Maximus received reports of rebellions breaking out across Imperial space. 100 worlds, inspired by Earth's resistance, were rising up against their oppressors. "This is impossible," he whispered, watching his mighty fleet surrender to Earth's forces. "We are the Empire. We cannot lose." But they had lost. The elite fleet, the pride of the Empire, surrendered to Earth, not through overwhelming force, but through human ingenuity, adaptability, and the simple fact that humans had never learned to accept defeat. As Imperial ships lowered their shields and powered down their weapons, Admiral Cooper sent one final message: "Tell your Empire this: Earth doesn't bow to tyrants. We break them." 1 month after the elite fleet's surrender, Earth's ships patrolled a solar system that was finally at peace. But the story of humanity's victory had spread far beyond their home system. Across the galaxy, the Empire was falling apart, piece by piece. Admiral Cooper stood on the observation deck of the Freedom's Dawn, the first Imperial battlecruiser captured by Earth, now transformed into humanity's flagship. Below him, delegations from 50 formerly enslaved worlds gathered for a historic meeting. "I never thought I'd see this day," General Stone said, joining him at the window. "We didn't just defend Earth. We started a revolution." Dr. Reed rushed into the room, his tablet displaying new data. "The Empire's FTL communication network is completely under our control," he reported. "And you won't believe what we found in their secret archives." The archives revealed a dark truth. Earth wasn't the first world to resist the Empire. Others had tried over the millennia, but the Empire had destroyed them so completely that no record of their resistance remained. Until now. "Send the data to every world in Imperial space," Cooper ordered. "Let everyone see the truth." In the great meeting hall of the Freedom's Dawn, representatives from across the galaxy gathered. Some had tentacles, others had multiple eyes, but all shared one thing: they had lived under Imperial rule, and now they were free. A delegate from a crystalline species spoke first. "For 10,000 years, we thought the Empire was invincible. Then Earth showed us the truth. They showed us that tyranny only survives when people believe they can't fight it." Another delegate, a being made of living gas contained in a special suit, floated forward. "Our scientists studied how Earth defeated the Empire. It wasn't just their technology. It was their spirit, their refusal to accept defeat, their ability to unite despite their differences, their endless creativity in the face of challenges." Admiral Cooper addressed the gathering. "Earth doesn't want to be your new empire. We want to be your allies." Each world here developed its own unique technologies, its own ways of thinking, before the Empire forced everyone to follow their rules. Imagine what we could achieve if we all worked together as equals. Around Earth, the captured Imperial ships were being transformed. Earth's engineers stripped away the golden decorations and symbols of Imperial power, replacing them with new markings: Galactic Defense Fleet, Guardians of Freedom. Dr. Reed's team had already begun sharing Earth's technological innovations with other worlds. The Empire kept everyone divided and dependent, he explained to a group of alien scientists. But look what happened when one world decided to think differently. Now imagine what will happen when we all share our knowledge. The news spread across the galaxy. Earth was forming a new alliance, not an empire of conquest, but a federation of free worlds. Any planet could join, as long as they pledged to defend freedom and share knowledge for the benefit of all. In his prison cell aboard the Freedom's Dawn, Lord Darius watched bitterly as his empire crumbled. How? He asked Cooper during an interrogation. How did one primitive world destroy 10,000 years of imperial rule? Cooper smiled. We weren't primitive. We were just different. The empire thought making things bigger and forcing everyone to obey made them stronger. Humans learned that true strength comes from diversity, creativity, and the freedom to choose our own path. 1 year after the Empire first arrived at Earth, the galaxy had changed forever. The Galactic Defense Fleet, led by ships from Earth, but crewed by beings from 100 worlds, patrolled space to prevent any new empire from rising. Trade routes opened between formerly isolated planets. New technologies emerged from combining different worlds' knowledge. Earth became known across the galaxy as the world that said no, but they were remembered not just for their resistance, but for what they did after victory. They helped others stand up, share their knowledge, and proved that freedom was stronger than tyranny. In the end, the Empire's attempt to conquer one primitive world had led to their own destruction. They had tried to force humanity to kneel, only to learn that humans did something very different when faced with impossible odds. They stood up, fought back, and changed the galaxy forever.